everyone. Happy Monday. I wanted to create a video to give you some feedback on the Module 1 activities and to make sure everybody is on the right track for Module 2. So first, to go back to Module 1, there were several activities to do, and I will go into them now. One thing was the purpose, audience, and tone assignment, where you read the letter, and most people did very, very well on that. It was a letter written to customer relations, and it was a very sarcastic, somewhat humorous letter about someone's hotel stay and how horrendous it was. And there was lots of evidence of that. It talked about like stained carpet and body fluids and stuff like that in the room. Just it was just really portrayed what sounded like a terrible hotel room. So that was one of the assignments, and you had to have the labels of the heading purpose, the heading audience, the heading tone. This editing assignment, this was one where you were supposed to put a screenshot of your score after you had worked on the quiz for a while. Some of the scores were fairly low, and I don't know if you rushed through it or what the deal was, but if you do feel like you're going to be struggling with your use of grammar, punctuation, please reach out to me and I can try to help you find a tutor in our tutoring center. It's free tutoring. I can provide some exercises for you to work on these skills. So just something to keep aware of. And then we had the intro discussion board. I really enjoyed reading all of your intros and information about yourselves. And then we had I think that was it. That may be all of it. Let me just double check at the handy course schedule. And if I go into the detailed course schedule, let me make sure I'm not leaving anything out. Yeah. There was the discussion board on writing in your career, and you were supposed to find out what technology is used in the career you're planning on going into. Now, this brings me to a really important point. I mentioned this in an earlier video, and that is, in order to be successful in this class, you need to choose a career focus for the entire class, because almost every single assignment requires you to imagine a scenario in that career or to research the career. Now, it is very common for students in my 114 class to be in dental hygiene or to be pursuing dental hygiene, dental assisting, vet tech. In fact, I have many students who are trying to get into the vet tech program or are in it, and they've been working in vet offices for years. They could probably be teaching the vet tech classes. So while I understand that you may know your field that you're planning on going into or staying in because you're already in it very well, this is a research class. So what you have to do is you have to demonstrate that you have the ability to research things. So remember, the point of the class isn't so that I know about your field. It's not so that I can know about vet tech and that I don't believe that you know it unless you look it up. I know you know it, but I need you to demonstrate your ability to research things and to show that you know how to document where you get sources from. If you are too close to this, if you're a vet tech and you're going to school for vet tech, I would think it would be very easy to do all your assignments related to vet tech. But if every time you're gonna say, well, I know this because I already work there, or or my dad's a vet, so I know about this, or I work in a vet's office already. And if it's just too hard for you to do the research because you know it's firsthand, then the only suggestion I can make for that is to maybe just choose a random career so that you have to research. But hopefully you'll just buy into this idea that you'll pick something you already know well, and you'll still use sources. And the sources will probably say exactly what you would have known without the sources. But I need to see that you know how to use sources, you know how to sift through the bad ones to find the good ones, and that you can then document the sources. So the writing and your career was a discussion board post where you were supposed to talk to people. That's an interview source in the field. You could use the internet. You were just supposed to look up about your career and find out what technology is used and what type of communication is used on the job. Maybe it's a lot of email. Maybe you do a lot of face-to-face client interaction. All the fields are very different. The technology is different. This class is full of a lot of dental assisting and dental hygiene students, or students hoping to get into those programs. So a lot of the information, and because that's who takes this class regularly, I'm very familiar with this information. So that's great. All right, let me go back into the module. So those were the assignments from Module 1, but I want to get you focused now on Module 2. So if I go back into coursework and I go down into the Module 2 folder, you'll see that we have 3 main assignments due. You're going to do a career presentation. You're going to do a career worksheet, which is really your notes for the presentation. So your presentation should not be you reading off your worksheet. It should just be a natural presentation, a rehearsed presentation within the allotted time, no shorter, no longer than the time parameters given. And it should cover your career, and you should have a visual aid. It should be you, just like this is a video of me presenting. I have enabled my screen to show as well. So if you wanted to show a PowerPoint while you spoke, you could, or you could literally just hold up things. You could say, this is something, it's got to be where you can read it. That would be a terrible example. But let's say this was an instrument you use on the job, or this was, you could hold it up and explain it. So feel free to not use PowerPoint if you don't think it will enhance your presentation. So you're going to do a presentation. You're going to fill out a worksheet that you'll submit to me that really is just your notes. And then the summary assignment, that's you trying to find a professional journal for your field. And I know that they have them for vets and for the dental field, dental hygiene in particular. And if you need to use the library resource guide I provided, you can. You can use that for all of this, for your career stuff and to find a journal assignment. You can use, our librarians are more than happy to help with that. But you're going to find a journal article, and you're going to read the article, and you're going to summarize it. Really, the interesting part is the learning that will take place is really you just getting familiar with what publications are out there in your field. So trying to locate the article is really at the heart of what I'm after for your learning experience here. But just so that there is something for you to turn in, because if I just said, hey, everyone go find out what journals are in your field and just know about them, and that's great, there'd be nothing for you to turn in. But so I'm going to have you actually zone in on one particular article, write a summary of it. You'll submit your summary. Summaries are very brief. I mean, if it's a 20-page article, it's probably going to be longer than a paragraph summary. You're not writing an abstract, you're writing an actual summary of the article. And the article can be very short, and then the summary, of course, will be just a fraction of the size of the full article. And then you can send me a link to the article, or you could actually send an actual copy, a photocopy of the article, a picture of it. But I need to be able to see the article as well. And a link is perfectly fine if you can find the link to it, and then I can get to it. So let's get into your research. So the career presentation assignment, here are some guidelines. Basically, this assignment is for you to do a 5 to 8 minute presentation where you'll talk about your field based off of what research you have found, not what you know about it already. Even if you've worked in the vet office for 20 years, you are going to do research. So you're going to talk to people, interview sources. You can look on job websites. You can all kinds of ways. And I've got a list here of types of sources that you can use: phone, live interview. They all have their way that they get cited. And you can use the Purdue OWL, Purdue, OWL website to see how to cite these sources. You'll notice here, your presentation must contain information from the sources, and you must use at least 3 of these bulleted sources below, or anything else you want, but at least 3 from below and more if you'd like. Those are just the types of sources. So you might have like 3 or 4 interviews, maybe a teacher at the college, maybe someone that works in the field. Maybe you'll talk to someone at HR at a company that hires for your position. And maybe part of what you're going to talk about is how often openings come open in your field here in Wilmington if you plan on staying. If you're planning on moving somewhere else, you might want to base your information on where you plan on moving and what that looks like, since part of this is to talk about obtaining the career. So you're kind of doing a full scope of this career. What is the career? What is it? What do people in that career do? Where do you get a job? How do you get a job? What classes do you take? What are some of those courses? Who are the teachers at the college? Do you have to go somewhere else after? Are there some special exams you have to take? Are there certifications you have to get? What are some desirable extra skills to have? They love when teachers have CPR training, just little details like that you would know if you talk to people in the field. What are some journals in the field? You'll find that out because when you're trying to find your article for your summary assignment, you'll come across different journals. Why do you want to do the field? What are the best places that maybe pay the best, or maybe pay is not what you're after? Maybe there's a place where it's a more respected field. So here's just a list of bulleted points of the types of things that should be included in your report. This is not in order or in your presentation. This is not necessarily in the order that you will discuss it. It just means that after listening to your presentation, you will have touched on these types of things. So let me go back. So those are the guidelines. Here's the worksheet. So you'll actually use this as a guide, and then on your own document, you'll create these headings and you'll have information. If you would like to handwrite this and scan your document in to the submission area, you can, or take a photograph of it, because this is really just showing all of your notes. All right, here is where you'll submit your career exploration worksheet data notes. And here's where you'll submit your career presentation. Remember, it's no shorter than 5 minutes, no longer than 8 minutes, and you'll upload it as a YouTube video. It's the only video I can 100% open. That just means that's where you'll end up saving and uploading it. You can record it on your phone or however you'd like to do it. Here's the research guide. It has a lot of information on job sources. This is a research guide that was created by our librarians to go along with this assignment. So you should be able to research your career within some of these links. So I hope this information is helpful to you, and please feel free to reach out. I do have I don't have a sample presentation, and that's on purpose, because I have found in the past and I spoke to another student about this, I have found that when I give an example, then everybody does exactly what the example shows. So if someone does a presentation, they use PowerPoint, then everybody thinks I have to use PowerPoint. You don't have to. Some presentations are better done with like showing the equipment, and those are the better visual aids. So I don't have an example. I just have parameters and guidelines, because I want these to be individual. I want this to be how you think is best to present your topic. So have a great rest of your week. Please reach out if you have any questions.